So, alright, imagine you are in a coding interview and they gave you this problem. And the problem statement is like you have given an array of numbers and you need to answer thousands of queries asking for the sum between index I and index j. Right, so this is what you have to do. Like you have to answer various queries, right, in which you have to find the sum between the I and the jth index. Right, so what's the first thing which will come in your mind? Loop through each time. But wait, time limit exceeded. You are cooked, right? So wrong. Like there is one technique that's turned this of n square disaster into an O of 1 lookup, and this same technique, right, it solved over 100 LeetCode problems, right? So that one pattern help you to solve 100 LeetCode problems. So it's really a must, and it's really important for you to actually know this particular pattern. So I used to stop like so we are going to discuss this particular technique in this particular video. So I used to spot prefix sum problem instantly, solve them in a minutes, and why this might be the like highest ROI technique you will learn this year. So let's start with the pattern up with the technique, whatever you want to call it, right? So let's first understand what a prefix sum actually is. So we have this array. A prefix sum is just the running totals as moved from left to right. So what I'm talking about is, right, so this is make sure to know that this is our requirement, or you can say query which we have to give the answer, right? So what's the prefix sum is look like? So prefix sum is nothing but the summation moving from left to right, which means if you are at 0th index, then sum is 3. If you are at first index, then the sum of that index is the current value of the num and the previous sum which we have calculated, right? So which means 1 plus 3, which is equal, like I just write it like this. So this is the sum for this first index. What about the second index? Second index, the sum is 1 plus, like write it like this, 3 plus 1 plus 4, right? And for the third index, it is 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2, and for the last index it would be 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2. Sorry for the ordering, right? But you are getting what I'm talking about, right? So what the prefix sum arrays look like? This one is 3, this one is going to be 4, right? And this one is going to be 4, 4, 8, right? And this one is going to be 10, and this one is going to be 15. So this is our prefix sum array, right? So this is the basically just our array which we have formed using our prefix array technique. But we haven't done a lot of stuff, but it is basically the main idea behind how we calculate the prefix sum array. And right, so this is how. And let's say I ask you, I have created this array, now what to do next, right? So let's say you know that what our requirement, we want the value, the sum from one index till that particular index. For example, I just write their indices as well. Let's say it's 0 index, it's first, it's 2, 3, 4, right? And let's say also try to make some gap between them for the better readability, right? And let's say this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And how prefix sum is going to help us in this particular situation, right? So let's say I ask you to return the sum from the first to the third index. So what you can do, the first, if you are talking about the brute force approach, or if you are talking about the traditional way to solve this, you are just looping through for I, from I 0 less than n, and similarly for the j, right? So you are going to do same stuff for this. So this is going to cost you O of n square time, right? But we don't want that, right? So that's why we are using prefix sum technique. So what you can do, right, what is the requirement? That I have asked you to return the sum from index 1 to index 3, right? And what exactly the sum is, from here we can calculate. If you see, the sum from first index to the third index is 2 plus 4 6 and 7. So the sum is actually a 7, right? So this is what we have to return. But if you see, at the third index we have sum as 10, right? We don't have sum as 7, so how we are actually going to use it? But if you see clearly that till this index we have a summation of the elements, right? but if you clearly see, if we are talking about only these elements, like for example, like what I'm talking about is that till third index we have summation from all the elements from 0 to that index, right? But we just want sum from the we only want the sum from first index to the third index, right? We don't want sum from we don't want to add the sum which is coming through the 0th index or the previous index which is exist, right? So what we can do, we know till third index what will be the sum, right? So we know till let me just, sorry, so I know till third index the sum is 10, right? So I know for sure, right? And what I want, I don't want the sum before these indices, right? I don't want the sum, like whatever the sum is coming before, I just want to like subtract so that I get what I'm actually looking for, right? So if you see, till this index we have a 10. If somehow I remove this, then whatever the sum is coming till this, it is what actually I'm looking for, right? So if you see, if I simply remove the sum as 3 from this, then I got 7, and 7 is what actually I want, right? So 7 is the element which 7 is the sum of the index from I to j which we are actually looking for, right? So this is the idea. And let's say take another example. Instead of 1 to 3, if I want from index from index second to 4, what will be the sum? If you see here, then the sum will be 4 to 6, 11, right? So the sum is 11 in this case. And let's use prefix sum array for better understanding that what exactly is happening. So if you see, for sure, like till fourth index we know that okay, the sum is 15. We know till fourth index the sum is 14. But if you see, if you are here, like till fourth index we have summation of all the previous elements, right? But if you see, our requirement is just to take the elements from the second index, right? And before that index we don't want to include those sum, right? So what we can do, we simply move to that index. Like we just have to do for a second index, then we simply remove the sum from before the second index, right? Because if you see, if you include because we only want this, right? But you see, in these particular elements we already included the sum which we got previously. So somehow we have to remove the sum from that, right? So that's why we remove 4 from our result. So this is going to give us 11, and this is what we are actually looking for, right? So this is the basic, like the main idea behind how prefix sum approach is actually working. It gives us the result in O of one time, like we can look up in O of one time instead of looping through every time. And another thing is that, let's say I want you to give me this sum from 0 to third index, then what will you do, right? In this case, if you see, if we are talking about 0 to 3, what is the sum? 0 to 3 is, if you sum this out, then it is going to be like a 10, right? So from 0 to 4 the sum is 10. And if you see inside the prefix array, we already have 10, which means what it indicates that if the I value, like if I is 0, then as it is use the sum from prefix array, right? Because we want to include that particular we want to include our starting point as well. But if the value of I is greater than 0, then make sure to subtract, because we have included the summation which we actually don't want in our result. So this is the only thing which we need to take care of, right? And what's the like code of this problem look like? So let's open just write it over here, right? Just writing our over here. So what is the like so I think it's better if I would use online compiler for better readability. Online Java compiler, right? So where is, no worries. So right, so this is our code, and what I want, I take the same array which we have used in our example, that our array is 3 1 sorry 3 1 4 2 5. So this is our array, right? And now first, what is the first step? Is to generate prefix array. And how we can do is simply move from left to right and then add the value till that index, right? So what we can do, simply first we need to create a prefix array, and the length is, I'm just taking it from here, right? So this is it. And if you the 0th element of the prefix sum is always equal to the 0 from the array, and now we just simply move from the first index till n. And what we can do, for the ith index, like for the ith index, what's the sum is look like? So for the prefix of I, it is all going to be we have to include our current element from the array, and the whatever the sum which we included, like calculated before ith index, so which is going to be inside the, right? So this is our prefix sum. Let me just print it out, the prefix array. It is actually like good technique. It helps you a lot in, not even in just like coding contest, but it's also in coding interviews as well. And it also help you to like solve a very difficult problem where you haven't thought about using this. So make sure to understand this clearly. Let me just run it. You see, this is our prefix array, and this is exactly what same what we have calculated over here, right? So this is a prefix array, and now what I want the sum from the like first index to third index, right? And what the sum which we calculated, the sum is 7, right? So this is what we want in our result. So what you can do, you just have to simply, let's say I have taken up queries, right? And let's say first to third, 0 to 1, right? I'm like considering all the cases. Let's say queries I is going to be like q of 0 and j is going to be q of 1, right? And you just have to take care of one thing, that if the I is like equal to 0, then make sure you don't need to subtract. The whatever the value is at jth index is going to be your prefix sum. You don't need to do anything, so simply do prefix of j. This is your answer, right? But when it is like when the j I is not 0, it is greater than 0, in that case the prefix is j minus prefix of I, right? So this is the code, and let me just run it over here to see what the output is look like. Okay, sorry for that, it is an array, not integer value. Okay, so you see okay, from first to third index and from 0 to first index, what's the sum is look like? So what we have calculated, from first to third index the sum is 11, got it? What we have done over here, from first to third index, 0 1 2 3rd. Okay, it is not this one, this is I minus 1. We need to subtract the previous, right? That's why we are considering, right? So this is the actual thing which we are actually looking for. From 0 to like from 0 to 1 the sum is 4, right? And from 1 to 3, like from 1 to 3 the sum is 7, right? So this is the code, and you see this is the standard. There is one standard problem on LeetCode, that some queries where they exactly ask you to do the same thing which I have mentioned over here. So this is the power of like using the prefix sum approach, and make sure that you understand it properly, because it helps you a lot in upcoming like problems in upcoming contest. Now here is why I say like 100 plus problem. Prefix sum is not just one problem type, like it's a tool that appears in distinguish. Let me show you the main 5 patterns. Like, so there is some pattern like first is range sum query, which I have already discussed. This is a like pattern of range sum query, like range sum query, it is range, right? Another is there is a problem where you have to find the subarray sum equals k, where you can also use the same approach, right? So there are various you can say the problems out there. There is one more problem which is really interesting, which is product of array element except itself. You can also check this out. It helps you a lot to actually come up with prefix array, and the way we have calculated the prefix array, the same way we calculate the suffix array, right? But the thing is that we start from the back instead of starting from the front, right? So this is the whole idea behind prefix sum array, because one of the person commented out that do explain this approach and this pattern for better understanding, right? So this is it. So we have done this particular thing, like we have solved how to actually think about prefix sum, where to use it, when to use it, and when it will help. So make sure whenever there is a situation where you have to find sum from one index to the another index, like there is a range, and whenever you are talking about these kind of stuffs, so always think about prefix sum, because it help you to solve the problem in of one lookup instead of running two different loops, because it is not helpful, because that will going to give you a TLE. So make sure to understand that. And there are some more keywords like contiguous elements, sum between indices, ranges, subarray. So more try to figure out these things, because it help you a lot. There is a multiple queries on the same array, count of some array with property x, equilibrium, balance point, a nested try to avoid nested loop and repeated sum matrix, right? So this is the whole thing. And if you see any of this, your brain should immediately think that can I pre-compute something, and 90% of the time it's prefix sum, right? So here is your homework. Try to solve problem by your own self. Whatever I have mentioned over here, try to think about this problem, right? The one with the start, try to learn the concept behind this particular approach, why we are using it, because prefix sum is not just a trick, it's a fundamental building block. Like once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It suddenly half the array problems on LeetCode become pattern recognition, because initially when I also started, I also find little difficulty while understanding this kind of problem, but now I have learned this approach, and now I know how to actually come up with the solution of these kind of problem, right? And so yeah, this is about the video, and I hope you are able to understand and got what I'm talking about and what I'm trying to explain you. This is the standard problem which I have coded there, so you can code it by your own self. Use copy and pen, try to write the prefix array, like how you are actually building, how we can find the sum between two indices, right? So do stuff, play around it, solve some problems, and go and check it out these problems, right? And do let me know in the comment section was your experience and how much problem you are able to solve, and was it helpful for you or not, right? So this is it for the video, and I hope you are able to understand. If you are not able to understand, do watch the video again, try by your own self, and you will definitely able to understand, because it is just a technique, nothing else. So this is it for the video, and I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, do subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos on a concept, and do let me know in the comment section that what another technique you want me to explain, like either it would be your two-pointer approach, binary search, or any other technique, sliding window, whatever you want. So do let me know in the comment section, and until then, bye bye, take care.